Democrats are trying to pass a new tax plan. But Republicans seem to be hung up on something.
Actually passed a bipartisan tax bill. That bill enhances a child tax credit for lower income families, and it boosts tax breaks for businesses. Now it moves to the Senate. But if you ask at least one Republican there, it's a no-go. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley says, quote, "I think that passing a tax bill that makes the president look good may allow checks before the election means that Biden could be reelected, and then we won't extend the 2017 tax bill." Now,
so the 2017 tax bill that I just showed you, 70%, what, 75%, 70%, all billionaires. 34% of that goes to the top 1%. Everybody else got hosed. Chuck Grassley knows that. It's so crazy that they talk this way now. They all talk this way. They say, let's not fix the border because it'll help Joe Biden win the election. Let's not pass tax cuts because the middle class, the lower classes will start to get a tax break. And Elon Musk might have to pay a little bit more than his secretary at this point. They say it all out loud now. And it used to be very coded. Republicans used to talk in a very coded way. It was dog whistles. It was everything else. But ever since, Donald Trump came in, now Grassley's like, screw that. We don't want the middle class to know they're getting hosed before an election. So we're not going to give you the tax break you need. That money, I could use some extra money this year. I don't need politics to play against it. Biden's the president. He should be able to pass a tax plan that he wants for people. But nah, just like the border.
He's talking about checks there that could lift thousands of children out of poverty. That's pretty cynical.
Pretty cynical. Party of life. Party of life. Party of life. They want to pass sweeping legislation from the federal level to ban all forms of abortion. And the next steps in that are banning certain kinds of contraception, certain pills you can take. And they do it all under the guise of, the children. Will someone think of the children? We love the children. We want to save babies. We want to save them. But as soon as the baby comes out, and I would argue even when the baby's in there, they don't give a shit. It's about control. It's about shaming, sex. It's all this religious. I put it in that evangelical video. But when the baby comes out, Chuck Grassley here, a tax credit to help kids. Literally, to help kids. Nah, we don't want to do that. It might help Biden. It's so popular. It might help Biden win the election. And why would we want popular bills with the people? Because at their core, all Republicans care about is their power. Is they care about having this power. Kind of going back to the economy. Kind of going back to my relative I talked to. Money's only so good. It's the power that you start craving after you reach a certain level of it. Like unchecked power. And that's what they're addicted to. And they're also addicted to the money that comes with power from the lobbyists holding things up. But anytime they tell you they're the party of life, just remember Chuck Grassley here saying, giving kids a tax credit, giving children a tax credit would look good. And we can't have that look good. Okay.
But unfortunately, as happens in this town, this legislation comes with provisions that, frankly, the people I represent are tired of. And it's provisions that would continue to expand the welfare state, as the Wall Street Journal editorialized about, by expanding the child tax credit in ways that will continue to fund people directly through refundable credits, which we find to be problematic. And we think undermines the kind of economic activity and incentive to work and incentive to, produce value that we think is critically important for economic growth. But importantly, that provision is also available to parents who are here in this country illegally of children born in the United States. We think that's a problem. We think that is not just allowing essentially birthright citizenship anchor babies, but funding it. That's a problem. Now, my colleagues on this side of the aisle rejoin that that was a product of the 2017 bill that was pushed by and passed by Republicans, including President Trump. To which I say, right. So what? It's still
so
wrong.
What?
It's still bad policy.
Like Michael Jordan
we shouldn't
says.
do it. And
Fuck
we should not
kids.
be perpetuating it now.
No, not you, Mackie.
Call everybody.
Oh, hold on. Let's not get to that lady yet. I got a couple things to say about Chip Roy here. So Chip Roy has famously been saying his party has nothing to run on in 2024. He comes out, he chastises the Republican Party, showboat, says, we haven't passed any bills. We got nothing to run on. We're an empty party. And he has a bill come up, right? A very popular bill, by the sounds of it, that brings kids out of poverty. But Chip says something that kind of gives the rest of the game away in the second half of it. He brings in illegal immigrants. So this is a tax credit, right? You have to pay your taxes to get the credit back. And Chip here is admitting that illegal immigrants in this country pay taxes to the federal government, right? Because in the Republicans' mind, they want you to think they're all freeloaders coming over here just selling fentanyl. You don't have to pay taxes on fentanyl, unless you're like the White House doctor. We can get to that later if we have time. But Chip's saying that these illegal immigrants work their asses off, they end up paying taxes, and this bill would give them a tax breaks for the kids they have. But the thing about these kids, and why the Republicans could care less about these kids, are they're brown kids, right? And they don't want to be giving them any tax breaks. They don't want them to be insured a meal every day. Party of life. Party of life, all you need to do is listen to them. So speaking of laborers who come to this country, pay what little money they have, they also pay federal taxes on top of it. Let's take a look at a lady who's most definitely been in my comments. Let's take a look at the MAGA super race.
But
yeah, let's check it out.
It's still wrong. It's still bad policy. We shouldn't do it. And we should not be perpetuating it
All
now.
right, finish up, Chip Roy. I'm trying to show
Call
something.
everybody you can. Tell them what's happening. Whether you're here or not, you can be a part of this. I can tell you right now, I was a part of the convoy from my house for as long as I could until I could get my truck fixed. We need keyboard warriors, okay? If you're sitting at home, you're on your phone, we want you to be warrioring for us.
New poll finds Joe Biden.
All right, I just talked about illegal immigrants who work their asses off, paying federal taxes. And that's what Chip Roy's scared about. This lady who's definitely commented on one of my videos in her rascal scooter is calling out to the chuds sitting at home, which it sounds like, according to her, there's an army of them, an army of just unemployed chuds, which tracks because I've never seen roadies follow politicians around in off years like I have Trump, right? 2 years ago, they were going to rallies. Who has time for that? Let alone, why would you go to a rally for a president, 3 years ago or whatever, in an off year when there's not even midterms? Aside from that, she's saying, keyboard warriors. That's what I was before I got my truck fixed. Get out there and comment on the Chud Reports video. So from now on, anytime I see a comment from a Chud in the comments, it's this lady. That's my mind who it's going to. She reminds me of that lady who was eating that whole block of cheese at one time. But I just want you to juxtapose this against Chip Roy saying brown kids whose parents work 10, 12 hours a day in the field, pay federal taxes, don't deserve benefits. But this lady on her rascal scooter sends up the cry to the other keyboard warriors, as she calls them. Used to be a slur, but I guess they've adopted it. They've made it their own to come comment on my videos. Grandma MAGA.
You can be a part of this. I can tell you
Thanks,
right
Grandma.
now, I was a part of the convoy from
was
my
part of the
house
convoy.
for as long as I
Fucking
could. until I
Disney
could get my
World in
truck
front of
fixed.
me
We
with
need
the
2
rascal
more
scooters.
warriors. Okay, if you're sitting at
You guys
home,
ever been to
you're on your
Disney
phone,
World?
We want you
All
to be
you, that's all you
warriors first.
see.